girl fam, it's your girl Brie, and today I'm here with a video. If you read by the title, you know what this video is, obviously. And today I'm going to be talking about my pregnancy story. I get a lot of questions on like how my parents reacted, how did I feel, and just like what it's like and everything. But I also just wanted to throw a little disclaimer out there. Jerron is in the room with me. He's sitting right here on the floor. He's playing with his toys. He's eating chips and he's watching TV. So if you hear like toys or you just hear talking or noise, period, I got a child and things happen. But if this video is like a little choppy or whatever, it's not more of a straightforward, it's like chopped up. It's just because like I have to stop recording so that I can, you know, get to him or do whatever. But yeah, if you want to hear about my pregnancy story, then just keep on watching. So I'm gonna give y'all like a little background, I guess, kind of. What happened, I was in 9th grade when I stopped going to school. I didn't drop out. I wasn't a dropout. I do not like school. School is not for me. School is not for everybody, and do not be ashamed of that. But I stopped going to school in the middle of 9th grade and I started homeschooling. I had asked my mom about it. Truthfully, I thought she was going to say no, but she went through with it, because like she said she knew from like the minute I started school that I was not going to like school. School was not my thing. And no. But I'm just glad at least I got to go up into 9th grade and I got to meet people and stuff like that. But I'm a very to myself type of person, so leaving school, I did not care. Like, I could at least went one more day, you know, tell everybody bye and all that. But I was just like, peace, bitch. Like, I'm out this. Like, I did not want to be there. Like, I just did not care. I didn't care to tell nobody bye. If you're watching this and we, like, know each other or whatever, sorry. But I did not care to tell anybody bye. Only person I really miss, truthfully, is my best friend. And yeah. But anyways, that's not even my pregnancy part. But I left in 9th grade. I was homeschooled from 9th grade all the way to like 2017. And everybody wanted me to come back to school. Like, people that I was cool with and stuff like that, like, they wanted me to come back to school. And I started thinking about it, and it came to about 11th grade year where I was like, yeah, I kind of just want to go back, because I was always bored, like, just being at home all day long. And, like, the work, you could do it on your own time. So, you know. But I finally decided I wanted to go back to school, and I had told my mom, we had talked about it or whatever. And as I was choosing to go to school, I ended up not getting my period. Okay. I ended up being about 2 days late when I was like, oh, why haven't I got my period? Like, you know, what's going on? I was sexually active. I started getting sexually active in about 10th grade. I mean, it was only with one person. I mean, y'all can say what y'all want to say. I only had sex with one person. So, yeah, but I ended up missing my period. I was about 2 days late. And I wasn't telling anybody. The only person I told was my ex-boyfriend. I told him, and he was just like, maybe it's just, you know, just gonna come late. And I was like, yeah, because it has happened before. Like, you know, as girls, like, sometimes your period just comes late out of nowhere, like, for no reason. So that's what I was thinking. And then about day 3 came, still didn't have it, and I started getting a little antsy. Like, inside I felt like, bitch, you pregnant. You pregnant. But I didn't want to believe it, because no, like, I was always a person who did not want children. Not want children, but I wanted to adopt. I didn't really want to have my own kids, because I always felt like there's so many kids out there who are like in foster care or the adoption centers things. I really don't know about that. Don't come for me. But I always wanted to just adopt or something like that. And I believe about day 4, that's when I really realized, like, my period is not coming at all. So that next morning, I woke up really early. The only person I knew that knew what I was doing was my stepsister. Because I had to borrow the money from her to go get a pregnancy test. So where I lived at the time, we lived in some apartments, and the apartments has a grocery store next door. So I walked over there. It was about like 7 or 8 in the morning because I wanted to do it before anybody woke up. So I walked over there to the store. I went to get the pregnancy test. I got to the checkout, you know, and I didn't have enough. And the lady really made me go all the way back home and come all the way back just to buy it. Like, you could tell that I was so scared. I was nervous. And she really was like, oh, you don't have enough. Like, you're going to have to go get more money. Bitch, just give me this shit. Just take what I do got. Because I had majority of it. I was just like maybe $1 short. I was just like, why are pregnancy tests so expensive? Because, no, boo-boo. But then I got a pregnancy test. I went home. I went straight to the bathroom. And I peed on the stick because I had held my pee in. I peed on the stick. And within seconds, like, I had already seen, like, it moving. Y'all, I was so scared. I didn't look directly at it. Once I saw it already moving, I was just like, no, like, this cannot be happening. Like, I hope this comes back negative and it's just all in my head. So I'm still just sitting on the toilet, you know, waiting for it. Because it says it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. That's a lie. It's like this quick. Okay, that was a horrible snap. It's like, okay, my snaps are horrible, but you get the point. It's that fast. And then I picked up the pregnancy test. I actually still have them, but I'm not going to get up to get them. And I looked at it, and it said it was positive. But I couldn't really read it at the time. Like, I didn't know. Like, that was my first time ever using a pregnancy test. So I was reading the instructions, and the instructions, bitch, you're pregnant. It's positive. And I was scared. Like, I started, like, not being able to breathe. Like, I started, like, what's the word? I don't know the word, but, like, I have asthma. And I started, like, not being able to breathe. I wasn't able to catch my breath. I'm sorry, boo-boo. But I calmed myself down because I learned to just calm myself down. When I can't breathe, I just calm myself down. And I'm good. But then right after that, I walked outside. Everybody in my house still asleep. I walked outside and I called up my ex, and I was like, I just took a pregnancy test. It came back positive. And he didn't believe me, and I was like, then meet me. Like, I'll come to your house. We literally lived in the same place at the same, like, we lived in the same apartment complex. It was like maybe like 2 minutes a walk to his place. But he wanted to meet at his sister's car, and his sister had parked. You okay? Yeah. His sister had parked at the store parking lot. I guess there was no parking spots. I don't know why she used to park right there, but it was like for a reason she used to park right there. But we met inside her car, and I showed him the test, and I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. Like, I was still like kind of like scared and everything. He already had another kid, which I already knew. Like, me and him had been together for already past a year at that time. And, like, I had known him since, like, I've known of him since 7th grade. But then, like, I knew him in 8th grade and 9th grade. And then 10th grade is, like, when we got together or whatever. And, he basically, like, I don't care that I'm putting this out there, like, whatever, like, if you going through this with me or going through this like I did, then, you know, whatever. I don't really give a damn. You can judge me, like, I mean, but he basically told me he did not want me to keep the baby. Just like that. He was like, well, you can't keep it. You're going to have to get an abortion. And I looked at him. You know, I'm sitting in the passenger side and he's sitting in the driver's side. And I looked at him and I was like, what? And he was like, I can't take care of another child. You're going to have to get rid of it, blah, blah. And I was like, no. Because me, like, I mean, if you feel like the best option for you is to, you know, have an abortion or to give your child up for adoption, that's you. That's your choice. But me personally, I do not really believe in abortion. Like, you're having unprotected sex. You know what can happen with having unprotected sex. So, therefore, whatever the outcome is, it's now your responsibility. So, that really had made me upset. because we had always talked about having a family, you know, sweet love and all that shit. But like, we were still young and I didn't want children by then. Like, he had his own. That was like my daughter already. Like, I had already stepped up to the mother role. And it made me mad. I got out the car. I went home. My cousin, she was living with us. And she was sleeping in the living room. And she happened to wake up as I was walking into the house. So I was like, Jesse, I need to tell you something. So, hey, Jesse, I don't know if you be watching our videos, but hey. And she was like, what? And I had my purse. Like, I used to wear, like, those crossbody Coach purses. And I pulled it out. And she was just like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And I was, like, really quiet about it. Like, I was just like, yeah. And, like, my eyes were all watering and shit. And she was like, oh, my God. Basically, like, are you going to tell your mom? I was like, I want to, but I'm scared. Because me, I was not holding back. Like, I found out that day, my mama was going to know that day. Period. Like, I know how some people will be like, they'll wait until basically they start showing. Hell no. Not me. Like, I told my mama that exact same day. But, no more right now. But, not right now. No, you just finished it. I was drinking my tea. Yeah. She was like, do you want me to, like, go get your mom, or do you want me to tell her? I was like, I was like, you can just go get her and I'll tell her myself, but I want you to be in here with me. Because me and my cousin, we're like this. Like, we have always been really close to each other. Like, she's older than me. She's like 26, 27, something like that. And I'm 20. But we have always been close to each other. And she went and got my mom, and she was like, hey, you know, Brie needs to tell you something. She needs to talk to you. And my mom, it was still kind of early. It was probably about going on like 9:30, 10 o'clock by then. And my mom came out there, and she was like, what? And I started crying. Like, the minute I saw my mom, I started crying because I was so scared. I was like, I don't know, like, what the fuck? Like, because my mom had always told me, like, you get pregnant, I'm whooping your motherfucking ass. Like, period. So I was scared. And then I told her by showing her. I didn't say nothing. No words came out of my mouth. I gave her the pregnancy test. And she had on her glasses. She had on her glasses. And she looks at it. And she goes, are you serious? And I'm just crying. Like, I'm just looking at her like, but I'm just crying. And she took it out of my hand. She took off her glasses. She's looking at it. She sits her glasses and the pregnancy test down. And she, like, rubs her face. And she's like, are you serious? And my cousin, she just standing there like, she just standing there. And then I was like, yeah. I was like, I just took it. And then she was like, oh, be careful, JJ, you gonna knock this over. She was like, oh my God. She was like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. She was like, I think it was like Father's Day or close to Father's Day. And she was like, happy Father's Day, Romero. That's my dad's name. And she just, like, made a joke out of it. Like, she wasn't really mad at me. But then her and my cousin were the only two that knew in the house. And then I had told my mom, I was like, I don't want to tell Romero about myself. I want to tell him with you, because telling your daddy that you're pregnant? Bitch. Hell no. So she was like, okay, I'll do it with you. And I was like, okay. So hours went by. Everybody started waking up. I was in my room. John, he over here mocking me. But I ended up just like, you know what? He's not here right now because he was at work. So I texted him and I was like, hey. I was like, I just took a pregnancy test. It came back positive. I was like, I said, I just took a pregnancy test because I've missed my period. It came back positive. I was like, I already talked to mama. She already knows. And then I was like, so yeah, I think I'm pregnant. All he said was, we gonna talk when I get home. Boy, that shit, like, had my heart beating fast. I was like, oh my God, like, are you serious right now? Like, I can't do that, like, no. So I started freaking out, but my mom didn't even know I had texted me. We were supposed to be doing it together. So then, I also was supposed to wait to tell my sister with my mom as well. But I was just like, you know what, I'm just trying to get all this out of the way. Like, the people in the house were the only people who knew. I did not, like, let anybody know on social media or anything like that. But my sister had ended up getting up to go to the restroom. Yeah, she ended up going to the restroom, and I had went in her room, and my nieces had just been born, and they were in the room sleeping, and I had went in there to go see them, so she had went to the restroom. Hey! And then she had came back out of the restroom. She didn't even know I was in her room, and I scared her because she did that. Like, I still remember that. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I need to talk to you." And she was like, "About what?" Because, like, I'm very close with my family. Like, I can just talk to them. So, it didn't really faze me or anything. I was nervous, but not so nervous to tell my sister. But I was just like, I already told Mama, and I texted Romero. I was like, "But I think I'm pregnant. I took a pregnancy test, and it came back positive." And she was just like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Well, what did Mama say?" And I just told her. And then she was like, "Well," she was like, "You know I'm going to be here to help you." She was like, "If you do decide to keep it," she was like, "You know everybody's going to be here to help you and everything." She's like, "You're not in this alone." And, like, she made me feel, like, really comfortable. And so I started crying a little bit. I got a little emotional. And then I was just like, "Okay." And then I was like, "I'm just scared." And she was just, like, comforting me and stuff. And then I had ended up leaving out her room. Throughout the day, I was still scared. Like, my brother didn't know. I think my stepsister knew already, because I think I had already told her. And then I had my stepbrother I had to tell. And I was scared shitless to tell my brother. Like, him and my dad were the main ones I was worried about, because my brother does not like my ex. Like, not even a little bit. He does not like him because I've went through so much with him, like getting called out my name, getting pushed when I was pregnant, like getting cheated on, all types of stuff I'm just not gonna get into, but like you get the point. And I'm very close. The camera had cut off, but the last thing I was saying was how close I am to my brother, so that's why I was scared to tell him. And the way I told him, like, my mom and my sister kept telling me, like, "You just need to tell your brother, you need to tell your brother, get it over with. The longer you wait, the worse it's probably going to be." So I was like, no. Like, that's all I kept saying. No, like, I'm not telling him. Like, if he needs to know, like, you tell him. Because I was scared to tell him. And my mom was just like, no. She's like, "We can just all come in here in the room since your sister and me already know. And we'll be in here with you while you tell him." And I was just like, no. Like, I was scared. Like, they was just laughing and stuff. I mean, I was laughing and stuff too, but I was just like, no, like, I'm not, you don't need to know, like, not. And then they ended up just calling him in there, and they were like, "Come here, we need to talk to you." So he came in there, and he laid under the covers. He was playing with a damn dog, and they were like, "Your sister needs to talk to you." And he was like, "What?" But he's like still under the covers, like completely under the covers. And they were like, "Tell him." And I just, like, I had that nervous laugh, like, you know, like, I had that weird-ass nervous laugh. And, I was just like, "I'm pregnant." That's all I said, like, just like that, so blunt. As soon as I said that, he stopped moving. He wasn't playing with the dog no more. He just got real still. Like, he moving and stuff, and "I'm pregnant," that's what it was. Like, he just stopped moving. And my eyes got real big. And my sister looked at me, and I looked at my mom, and we were all just like, and he didn't say a word at all. And I really don't remember what happened after that. I don't think he still ever spoke on it. But then after that, I was like, you know what? I done told everybody I'm good. Not even realizing you still gotta talk to your dad when he gets home from work. Okay? But then the last person I had to tell was my stepbrother. So I was just like, him, I was not worried about. So I was just like, "Marky, I'm pregnant," just like that. And then he was like, "Me too." Like, he made a joke out of it or whatever. And then that day, that same day, because all this happened in the same day, I decided to go to sleep because I was like, I don't want to be awake when my dad gets here. So I decided to take a little nap. But my dumb self decided to take a nap in the living room. And as soon as I woke up from my nap, he's sitting right across from me on the other couch. So he knew exactly when I was going to wake up. I woke up and I was like, shit. Like, I tried to go back to sleep. I really did. I tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. So I just was laying there. I didn't say anything to him. I just laid there. And then he looked at me. He said, come on, let's go talk before you go back to sleep. And I was just like, I looked at my mom because she was in the chair. And she looked at me. And then I went in the room with my dad. And we started talking. And he was like, I just want you to know I'm not mad at you. He's like, I'm not mad at you or anything. He was like, I'm just a little disappointed. He was like, I know we may not be as excited.
You totally say maybe say, I didn't touch me in your chair. You did.
Yeah.
You put the gas on.
Yeah.
I
I don't know what he's talking about, y'all. Okay, go finish playing, okay? But anyways, he was like, what is that? He's like, we may not be as excited for you as we were your sister. He's like, just because of y'all's age difference, which my sister is, she's 7 years older, 6 or 7 years older than me. But like, I kind of understood. He was like, if you do decide, he's like, it's your decision. He was like, do you want to keep the baby or not? He was like, I'm not telling you have to. I'm not telling you can't. He's like, it's your choice. And I was like, I want to keep it. And he was like, okay. And he was like, well, he was like, just know that we're going to be here. We're going to help you through everything. He was like, you're not in here. You're not in this alone. Blah, blah. And then he gave me like a long hug. And then I was crying a little bit. And then after that, like, it was just normal. My mom set me up an appointment for, like, what's it called? To just basically, like, confirm, like, yes, you are pregnant. So I went to one of those little offices, and I was with my mom and my sister, and I think my ex. I'm not sure if he was there. But I went, and they did a little sonogram, and I saw a little pee thing. I have, like, the picture, like, his very first picture when he was in my stomach. Like, I have it. I just don't feel like getting up. So I might just, like, end up taking little pictures of it and just, like, inserting it whenever, you know, I'm editing or whatever. But I don't know. But we went. I saw it, and he was just a little bitty little pea, like this big. I got a big smile on my face because, like, it just made me happy. Like, I didn't want to be pregnant. Don't get me wrong. Like, I didn't want to have a child this young. But, I mean, God knows what you want before you do. So, yeah, my mom she started getting excited and everything, but she still didn't want me to post it because she was like, I don't want you to, like, post about it on Facebook or your Instagram or something, and then, like, something happens and you don't have a baby anymore. And then, like, basically you have to, like, let people know, like, you know, you had a miscarriage or something. And I was like, okay, like, I understood that. So I didn't, I think I didn't post until I really had, like, my baby doctor stuff set up, and, like, I started going to the checkups. And then I don't think I posted about it first. I think I let my mom post it. And she was like, well, we're going to have another grandbaby. And she posted it on Facebook and everything. And everybody was like, from who? And then it was from me. But then that's when I went to post, and everybody was like, oh my God, congratulations, blah, blah. A lot of people were very supportive. A lot of people wanted to be his aunt and his godmom, but none of them are to be found. But that's fine. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. But let's see. After that, you know, I started having my regularly checkups and everything. Then it got closer to the time to where we could figure out what the sex was. And I had this dream that I was going to have a girl. Like, I was like, I'm having a boy, period. Like, just a boy. And then, like, it started getting closer to, like, okay, like, you're about to get to figure out, like, actually get to know if it's a boy or girl. And I was like, no, it's a girl. Like, it just, like, changed. Like, it's a girl. Like, I know it's a girl. Like, I'm going to be stuck with a little girl. So, I started just basically looking up girl names. And then I had came upon it. I'm not going to tell y'all because if I ever do decide to use that name, like, this is my name. Okay? But then we went to the doctor, and she was like, do you want to know the sex of the baby? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. She was like, well, I'm fixing to tell you. She's like, can you tell what it is? Like, I'm looking at the screen above me, and it's showing. And I was like, And no. And she's like, well, you see this little thing right here? And she was like, it's a boy. And I turned and I looked at my mom because I was so excited because I really did, like, I wanted a boy to begin with. And she was excited because she wanted a grandson. Like, she wanted my sister to have a boy. But my sister ended up having 2 girls. She has twins. And, like, everybody was just excited. His dad was excited. And everything. I don't know what I just left off on because I had to stop. But everybody was excited because I was having a boy. We posted about it on Facebook. Everybody on there, like my other family members, they were excited. They were like, oh my gosh, finally a boy. Because my family has a lot of little girls. Or just a lot of girls, women, period. So it's like, oh my god, like we're finally getting another baby boy. So everybody was excited. Then we're going to just fast forward this. And it got to the day that they called me to come in to give birth. I was at the park with my sister and my nieces, you know, big old belly. I was already about 8 months or something like that, going on 9. And, you know, we're at the park. My mom calls me. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, at the park with Celeste. She was like, are you ready to have a baby? And I froze for a minute. I was like, huh? And she was like, are you ready to have the baby? It's baby time. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, the hospital just called me. They have a room ready for you. And they were like, so you need to hurry up, go home, pack your bag, and we need to go to the hospital. And I was just like, okay. It didn't really dawn on me then. I was just like, well, I have to call his dad. And because his dad was at work. And she was like, okay. She's like, call him, let him know. I was like, okay. And then I called him, told him. As soon as I told him, he was excited. But he was excited. I heard him yelling and stuff. And then we had to go pick him up from his job. And we went back to our house. I got my bag packed for myself. Oh, hand me that, boo-boo. And I got the diaper bag ready. His dad had packed his bag. And then we went to the hospital. The only reason, like, it was like, I had to go in is because they didn't want me to go any further in my pregnancy because he was small and they didn't know if that was like normal for me or if he was just too small, so they wanted to get him out a little bit earlier because his original due date is, well, was February 26th. But yeah. But let's see what happened after that. We got to the hospital. I don't know what that was, but we got to the hospital. We got checked into the room and everything. And I was good.
Mommy.
He really just be talking, y'all. I think he really just likes to talk. But he looking at his book right now. But anyways, once we got to the hospital, that's when it started hitting me. Like, it's about to become reality. And then that's like I said, that's when it really hit me. Like, you're about to have this baby. You're about to become a mom. Like, there's no more just like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant, I'll be a mom. It's like, it's fixing to happen. Like, everything's fixing to change. So, I'm sitting at the hospital, you know, I'm in my gown and everything, laying in the bed. Let's see. I wasn't, like, really having my contractions or anything. I was just there, pretty much. So, they basically had to break my water themselves. Like, my water wasn't going to break on its own. They had to break it themselves. So they had to do 2 things to get it to break and for my cervix to start opening up even more because my cervix just did not want to do anything. Like, nothing was doing anything it was supposed to be doing. So they gave me like this little balloon thing that they put inside or something. I don't really know. And it was supposed to help my contractions start, and that way like everything will start happening. It didn't work. So a couple hours later, they ended up doing like this little pill thing, and they inserted it in my vagina. So it basically, once they put the pill, I don't know how long it took or whatever, but that's the one that had got it to start working. And hold on, and my contractions started kicking in, and boy, let me tell you, contractions are not fun. They are not fun at all. Like, that crap hurts. Like, I don't care what nobody says. That crap hurts. If you can, like, have your contractions and have a baby, like, natural without any medications, an epidural, or anything. Like, so I salute you because I cannot and I will not. So I ended up getting an epidural. An epidural, if you don't know, they basically get a needle, like a shot thing, and they stick it up your back. And like once they push something, it like makes this stuff come out. I don't know what it is, but it like shoots this medication into your back and to the bottom half of your body. That way, like, everything's numb down there. Like, you can't even, like, you can do all that and you're not gonna feel it. You can pinch yourself, you punch yourself, you can probably fucking stab yourself or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna try it, so yeah. But then that started happening, and then the contractions were so bad I was not paying attention to the fact that he was sticking a long ass needle in my back, but I could feel like the stuff going in. After that, gave a few minutes, it completely kicked in. I was completely fine. No, like, I was having contractions, I believe, but like the epidural was calming it down for me. So I was good after that. I was just chilling, just kind of watching TV and everything. But my hospital, like, experience was not good because of his dad. He basically kept arguing with me and leaving, and he just kept hitting stuff on the walls and having like all these nurses and stuff just constantly running into the room. He was just doing too much, and it was just to the point where I really wanted him to get kicked out of the hospital because I did not want him to be there no more because he was just doing too much. He wasn't making me feel comfortable or anything. He was actually making me feel worse. But then it was going on later on that night. It was about like, I'd say like about like 3 or so in the morning, and they came in the room. I was asleep, but they had woken me up to check everything, asked me how I was feeling, and they were like, "Oh, you're getting really close. Like, it's about to be time." And I was like, and my mom was just like, "It's almost baby time," and they were like, "Yep, it's almost baby time." So my dad and my sister, they had left. They had went home because my sister had her babies, so she had to go home with them, and she was like, "Just call me whenever it's close to time. That way I can come back up here and be here." So we ended up calling her, and we were like, "Hey, you gotta come because it's almost baby time." So she came back, and then after she came back, I don't know how long it was after that, and the doctor and another lady had came in there, and they were like, "It's time. It's time for you to start pushing, and you know, so we can get this started." So then they basically got my legs up. I don't really know how to do it, but like my legs was up, and they was just basically like every, I think it's like 10 seconds, they count to 10 as you're pushing. So they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, like in that pace all the way to 10, and that's when you gotta push. And then when they get to 10, you stop, you breathe. But then it's like after like 3 seconds, they're like, "Okay, you need to push again," and they're counting 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. And then you gotta stop, gotta take a deep breath, and you gotta keep doing it until basically they tell you to stop. So, you know, I'm doing that, and I couldn't feel anything because I had my epidural. And it got to a point because, like, my mom was standing there, and everybody was like, "Oh my God." It was really just me, my mom, the 2 doctors, his dad, and my sister. Did I say my mom too? I don't know. But it was just us in there because I did not want a whole bunch of people in there. I'm sorry. I did not want a lot of people. Even after he was born, I did not want other people around. And I'm pushing because I'm looking at like all their faces, and they're just like, their eyes are big, and my sister and my mom were just like, "Oh my God," like my mom crying and shit. And then I'm looking at his dad, his eyes are just big, and they're just like shocked. And then they're like, "Oh, I see him coming. I see his head. I see his head is coming." But like Jerron, he was like, he would come out, but then like suck back in right after. Like after I got done pushing, like as I'm pushing, he's coming out. But then once I get done, he goes back in. So I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was ready to come out or not. But they're like, "He's almost there. He's almost there. I see his head. You just gotta keep pushing. Just keep pushing." And I started laughing, and the doctor was like, "Wow, like I've never seen that before. Like you're laughing as you're giving birth. Like, okay." She was like, "Whatever's helping you, just keep going." So I'm sitting there and I'm pushing, and all of a sudden she's like, "He's fixing to come out. He's fixing to come out. Just one more big push." And then boom. I had Jerron, I heard his little cry, they gave him to me, and I was just like, I was like, oh my baby. I don't think I really cried. My eyes may have got watery, but I don't think I really cried or anything. But I was just excited. And then, you know, he cut the umbilical cord, and then they put him inside his little thing that was laying next to my bed so that they can like wipe him off and everything, and then wrap him up in his blanket. And my mom, she was over there looking at him because I ended up having to get stitches on my vagina.
And the room went big up.
Okay.
And room went big up.
But I ended up having to get stitches. I ended up having to get, stop, Jojo, you're moving. I ended up having to get stitches because his head was so big. But his head basically tore my vagina or whatever. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, I was getting stitches and my mom was looking, and she's like, Brie, he looks just like you, blah blah and all this. And then they gave him to me, and I just saw him, and he was just so cute. He was so pale though at the time. And then I will try to insert pictures. I'm going to try. If I don't hate me for it, because yeah, like I post pictures, like throwback pictures and videos of him when he was first born and stuff like that on my Instagram and my Snapchat all the time. And I share like my old Facebook memories. But I mean, most people don't have me on Facebook because I don't add nobody on Facebook because that's more like my family stuff. But yeah, and then after that, you know, I had to stay in the hospital for about 2 more days. Everything was good. Jerome was good. I got to go home. I took him home, and it was just like, I'm a mom now. Like, it was like real. Like, it's not just like you just have him in your stomach anymore. Like, he's here. You're touching him. You're seeing him. Like, you waited so long to touch him and to see him, and he's finally here. Like, it was just like really life-changing. I don't regret it at all. I do wish I would have waited a little bit longer, but I mean, God knows what you need before you do. And I have seen this post before. It's like a little quote, and it said, if a woman's first child is a boy, it's because they needed to know what true love from, you know, a boy is. It was something along those lines. And I was just like, sorry, y'all, my back is like, oh my God, like, I really felt like I needed that because so much had went on with me and his father that we stopped talking to each other. We was not together anymore after he was born. And like, Jerome would just always make me feel happy. Like, if I was crying, if I was sad or something, I just hold him and look at him, and I'm just good. And still to this day, like, I do not like to cry in front of him. But like, sometimes if I end up crying, like, he's older now, and he'll just like, he'll give me a hug. He's like, it's okay, mommy. And he'll be like, I love you. And he'll give me a hug. I know. And he'll give me a kiss. Sometimes he'll even get to the point where he's crying. Like, he don't even know what I'm crying for. He's just crying because he sees his mama crying. But yeah, and then now I got this big old thing. Oh gosh.
Then we can link. Hit the shower, you might stay. Bitch, bag it, they all might great. And she said that the ooze is so great.